What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Match My Smoke, the podcast. I'm your host with the quotes, JB the Oracle, and we're here with a special guest. This is the first time we have a returning guest back on Match My Smoke, the podcast. We have one of the biggest B2B canna conferences in the country right now, just taking over the country. East Coast doing their thing, Midwest takeover. They'll be back in the Midwest in September. We have the CEO, founder of the Flower Expo, back on our show. Let's give a round of applause, Jason Bello. What's going on, Jason?
Always an honor to speak with you, JB.
Likewise, man. Appreciate you joining us again on the show. We know the Flower Expo is coming up in another month. Well, this month is ending now, so one more month, a little bit and a half, a month and a half-ish. And the Flower Expo will be back here for 2 days. The people have been waiting. The people enjoyed themselves last year. You guys gave an incredible show. You know, you brought out all the stops. Gave people a wonderful experience. So I'm looking forward to this conversation to hear what you all are cooking up now, man. Tell people know you already. You've been on the show, but tell us a little bit about what should we be expecting on this new run this year. You guys, this is your third year here in Chicago.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super excited to be back in Chicago with the show. I think that the community and the market as a whole has been incredibly receptive to the first two events that we've done. So we're excited to improve the event, elevate it, and I think we've made the right iterations to ensure that people enjoy their time, and most importantly, they have quality meetings and they network with the right people so that they can extract value from the show and make sure that that they're there for their intended purpose, which is really selling through product. And that's the whole focus of the show. But I would say the biggest change is we're going to be at a new home this year. We'll be at the Morgan Arts Complex in Bridgeport. I'm super excited about it. It's a great team over there, great ownership. And the overall, I would say the big thing about the venue is it's got a natural outdoor sort of garden that we can set up in and really make a true outdoor event like people are used to from our Massachusetts show, where over there we're on multiple acres, but we've got giant shaded lounge trussing systems and lots of outdoor furniture for people to hang out and chill and smoke the product. And then on the inside it's probably about 3 times the size of last year's show. So I think that it's going to allow us to continue to grow it. And you can definitely expect to see a bigger indoor floor plan. So we're excited about all the new brands that are going to be joining us as well.
That's what I was just going to ask, because the first year you guys came, you were in a great space. The space was a little bit smaller. The second year you all did the Garrity. The Garrity was phenomenal, had the outside parking lot. The inside was exquisite. And now this third year, y'all doing it even bigger. Is that the intended thing, or now this spot is going to probably be home if everything works out for the future?
Yeah, I think, that's definitely a lot of what we're hoping is that this is going to be the long-term home of the show that we can grow into for years to come. I think that we took a different approach in Chicago than maybe the other states that I've put on the show, where first year we're obviously at a very small space and we packed the house maybe too much. And, it was great in the sense that we were able to gauge the demand of the show and scale the growth of it. So obviously, I think it was a great event last year. Obviously, it was a beautiful space. The outdoor, I just think, had a lot to, a lot more that we could have done. So yeah, this event space is definitely a lot bigger, enables us to grow. And I would also say that the first two shows, I think, beyond showing the immense value to both retailers and brands alike. Last year, we had over 90% of the stores in the state come out to the show to check out product, and tons of great brands. But we also were able to put us on the map with new brands. Like, you can expect to see Timeless Vapes for the very first time exhibit in the show. I've got Sun Theory, who does dialed in gummies. It's going to be their first time exhibiting in Chicago with us. We've got the classic G Pen, who's an industry staple. They're going to be there for the very first time. Cresco Labs, we finally got them to get involved. We're bringing back some great brands that joined us in the first show, didn't come out to the second, like IC Collective. I'm super pumped to have them out. But yeah, I think it's definitely going to be an amazing show. A ton of brands. You can expect to see it get a little bit bigger, and I think the retail audience should be stellar as well. A lot of people, the same people, as well as more bud tenders, more buyers that we weren't able to draw out, and obviously any industry turnover, new people.
Fantastic. I mean, it sounds like you all been moving and shaking. I want to ask a little bit about the entertainment and the educational piece. You all had a phenomenal panel there last year. I think one of the best panel was the women's panel that went really well. It was a lot of great information. You had a lot of heavies there speaking. This year, what should we expect entertainment wise? Music, panel? Are you still doing the panels? Are you changing it up? What's going on with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously last year I think was a great test of the market, and I think we're learning with the panels every year as we go. And if you've seen some of the Massachusetts panels, there's a couple of them that have really gone viral and people have really been interested in, just because we've brought such great people in. Obviously last year I think it was awesome having Jim Belushi walk around, and then we had GLC go up for a little bit to perform, who I know you just had on your podcast here as well. But yeah, I would say that I think you can expect to have a good mixture of uh, cannabis operators in the state. We're bringing in good service providers that work nationwide and can give some great data and insight on the Illinois market relative to the rest of the country, and how the other markets are sort of going. And then I think something that we tried out in Massachusetts in this last show was a couple of short form one-on-one style interviews. So I think that those went really well and have been recepted pretty well, obviously in person and online. So I'd love to see I'd love to have GLC go up there again, but I'd love to also have him sit down and maybe hear a little bit about his background and obviously the brand that he's working on in a more direct one-on-one interview.
Absolutely, absolutely. Are there any other names that you could drop at this time who we should be expecting from the panel side or entertainment that you already have lined up?
In the works, I would say come to the Flower Expo in Chicago, September 15th and 16th to check it out. But there definitely will be some surprises.
Now, I'm glad you guys are sticking to the 2 days. I think, the size wise and what you guys are offering, it definitely needs 2 days. But can you explain both days to our viewers?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I agree with you. I think that the 2 days are incredibly important. And day one, you can expect a really high quality, limited crowd. It's all decision makers from stores. So it's the owners and the buyer at a dispensary walking. That's really all you're going to meet. Maybe some media and a couple of other sort of VIPs, but it's really all about brands meeting the dispensary buyers, and that's the focus of the show. You want to meet your current clients as well as everybody in the market that can possibly purchase your product. And then day two, you'll see those people come through again, and obviously, they want to come and enjoy the show for all the product and the perks, but day two, you'll see a bud tender heavy crowd. So that's kind of our big bud tender bonanza of, Last year we had over 1,500 come, and basically they're there to put a face to the products, meet the growers behind it, meet the people that make the product, and obviously I think for the brands it's the best opportunity to give new products, meet the bud tenders that are there in the stores pushing your product every single day.
Absolutely. I love both days. On the first day, I'm just networking crazy, meeting people, meeting the buyers. But the second day, I think the second day is a little bit more special too because you really get intricate info, what's happening on the retail front and what's happening on the streets. The bud tenders know what's happening, what's going on. They able to give you like super pertinent information. And like you said, I didn't know you had 1,500. Chicago, y'all showed out like that. That's what's up. Um, so this year, how many are you anticipating like going over that number, or do you have a gauge on that registration yet? Is it too early?
I hope that every bud tender in the state who's not working a shift comes. But no, I would say that yeah, early. Obviously, it's still a bit early in the registration, but it is going well. I think that we're definitely pacing to beat those numbers.
Now, I wanted to get into a little bit more intricate information about it. Just, this is your third year coming to Chicago. What's some of the success stories or deals and things being made that you've heard about and that you've been able to say, okay, we was the catalyst to create that opportunity for people? Tell us some.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that, for one, that really there wasn't a show like this before. I mean, there were other national conventions that came into town and had tried. I think it was a different focus, and not to speak negatively on any of those shows, it was just a different focus. I think a lot more ancillary driven, or obviously there's Ignite It in the market, which is a little bit more focused on capital raising and in general, more of a service based show. We're the cannabis show, so I think that we were really the first show of its kind in the market of introducing operators to each other and creating a platform where they can smoke and try the product. So yeah, I would say number one, everybody who's done the show and come back obviously had a good experience, and I think that I've developed a great relationship with a ton of these brands as a result. But I mean, just to rattle off some names, I can tell you Soul Canna, Organics Farms, Legacy Cannabis, Vape and Ape. I've had Journeyman in the show, Kiva, and even it's a mix, obviously, of local and national brands. But Relief Botanicals, they always come back. They've done exceptional in the show. Sin City Cannabis, they've done well. Zoe Smiles, we've had OG's brands, they've come a few times. So that's just to name a few, but I would say, yeah, we've definitely had a lot of success with brands who have done it and come back. Overall, it's probably one of of all the shows I do, it's probably one of the highest rates of returning clients from the first time we did it to the second time, and it's looking that way from second time to this time. I can already tell you that the show at this point, even a few months out, is already bigger than it was last year. So we're expecting, a solid amount of growth for this event.
Now, that runs me right into my next question. As you guys grow, as far as technology, how are you utilizing technology to help people network? I go to a lot of events. Some shows give guests the scan card, so it's easier to connect and share info and things like that. Will you be doing that this year, or would that be something you look to do in the future?
Yeah, I mean, we've always looked at doing some kind of matchmaking or lead retrieval software, but I think honestly we've always sort of turned against it. And I mean, you know the show and you know what we do, but everybody has a color-coded wristband that they're wearing. So if they're an exhibitor, a retail decision maker, a bud tender, a media person, or just they're there generally. But um, I would say kind of what fosters such good conversation in the event is it is a very chill vibe. It's very laid back. People are having very intimate networking conversations, and you can easily identify people. And I mean, I guess the point I'm trying to make is it's not an overwhelming crowd. You're meeting a very limited amount of people that make the decisions in the industry. So it should be sort of a, I run into this person who is a dispensary decision maker, and then we have a good conversation. I give them my product, and obviously, hopefully, we make a good enough interaction where they follow up afterwards, and they give them a shot in their store, and they continue to sell to them. But I think every change that we're making with this new venue is only going to add to that. We're the outdoor lounge area. It really should be a great large area where people are going to sit down, relax, have one-on-one networking conversations, and smoke the product. I mean, that's what we see in the Massachusetts show, and I think that's where we lacked last September when we did the event. The outdoor area was, as you saw, was turf with some bean bags on it, and I don't think people they didn't love it. It looked dressed up. It looked cute, right? But it wasn't functional as my other events are. I mean, if you just look up the recap of our Massachusetts video, there's everybody's sitting out under that big canopy on a bean bag on a chair, and there's a giant cloud of smoke coming up from it. So
Now, I'm glad that you were very transparent about that. So I want to dig a little bit more into that. What's some of the things that you learned in last year that maybe didn't go well as well and that you want to implement this year and make it go better?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that with every show that we do, we're always learning, sort of two prong. Number one, from a production standpoint. I mean, this is a lot of behind the scenes stuff, but I would just say getting used to the local vendors and getting used to setting up the show the certain way based on the venue. So that's something you get better at every time. It becomes cookie cutter. I think we'll be exceptional at it this year, and it should
Right.
be, from a production standpoint, our best looking event and our most functional event that people come in and they enjoy the entire experience, from A to Z. Whether it's in the new concession area that we're designing and building out, a sessions room, so it's a dedicated area for just the sessions, or there's a food patio, there's the indoor exhibition hall, there's the outdoor lounge. And then I would say the other part of that I think we're improving on is how do we reach everybody in the market effectively. Obviously, listen, everybody's unique, and I think especially Chicago, Illinois as a whole too. I think, they're unique people. They're hardworking people. I've grown to love the people of Illinois, and I would just say that we're always finding the most effective ways to reach out to them, get them engaged, and serve their needs. It's always my dad always says being a salesperson is like being a doctor. You're listening. The first thing you're doing is you're listening. You're diagnosing the issue, and you're finding ways to solve it.
That's what's up. Shout out Eric Bello. Now, with that being said, I want to hear a little bit more about some of the functions inside the event. I think last year one of my favorite activations was Breeze, and then the year before, I think IC Collective did a really good activation there. Can you tell us about some of the great visual activations that people will be displaying this year?
Yeah, absolutely. I think really the activations this year are going to be so far ahead of anything that you've seen before with us. And it, I, right when you walk into the event, the main entrance is going to be outside, and it leads you into the lounge. You're presented right away with the big covered canopy lounge that has bean bags and chairs under it, and if it even gets too hot, we'll turn the misters on. But and then there's a big wall of booths. You're going to see Fernway right away, Verano. It looks like Dracisco Farms will be out there. And then when you go in, there's going to be, last year we only had 2 of the pavilions inside. We're going to have 4 of our big booth sizes at least. That's just already. So, you'll see right away Rove, Redemption Botanicals, Cresco Labs in a huge booth, and then IC Collective is going to be returning as well.
That's dope. That's dope. And I know all those all those people, all those companies. Um, Back to, I know you guys are getting bigger and better. You started to talk about the food court. I know the first year you guys had a truck or two. The second, as far as food, the second year you really beefed it up. What should people be expecting? Because I know people be there all day. They be hungry, Jason. They be hungry. What should they be expecting to eat there?
Well, I love to indulge in the food myself, so we made sure that we brought out some authentic Chicago classics and just some great food in general. There's three food operators that are going to be there. It's Freddy's on 31st. They'll have pizza, Italian beef sandwiches, and then we've got Dolce Arte, which is a pastries and cookies and coffee to start your day with. And then we'll also have some tacos and, they've got a whole bunch of Mexican options.
Okay, okay. And I mean, you really have a great team that work beside you. Everybody's just cheerful on that day. You can tell they running around working, making sure everything is on point. Are you guys hiring local people as well or looking for volunteers locally to come through to help since you're growing and it's getting bigger?
Yeah, we're always hiring local, especially for our check-in staff and the people that are running around the event being greeters. And I've already hired for this year, but I would say if you're interested for next year, please reach out to ops@theflowerexpo.com. That's OPS at theflowerexpo.com.
Now, just to piggyback on that, for people who would want to know for the future, how far in advance or should they just be trying to apply now for next year?
I would apply right away. Yeah, we love to plan these things out early. Typically, we're already sending out messaging and selling the next show pretty much at the show. So it's a continuous thing. Our business is nonstop all year round.
How many people do you all have on your full guest list period now in the third year?
Um, you mean just like attendees, registered
Yeah,
attendees?
attendees and not only attendees, I'm talking everybody.
Yeah. Well, I've got 70 exhibitors so far, and I think that'll exceed at least probably 150 brands or something by the time of the show. We already have about 200 stores that are registered. That should exceed at least 250, and amongst that, I mean, as a raw, like a I guess like compound number, day one is probably about 1,700 people, and then day two it ramps up to maybe 2,500 to plus.
That's crazy. That's gonna be
Yeah.
a lot of people. Need a lot of hand sanitizer.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, I want to get into a little bit more personal to you. Like, what drives you to continue doing this? Obviously I'm pretty sure you're making money and things like that, but this is, I'm pretty sure, a crazy event to go on the road with all the time. What is that motivation that drives you to continue to do this at the highest level?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would say that I first and foremost love the plant. It's been a part of my life for as long as I can remember. When I was 18 years old, I got my first job in the legal cannabis industry and really have done it ever since. All through college, I worked for different cannabis companies and events, and it really led to when I left college when I was 22 years old. I launched the Flower Expo, and I would say that I've I've been passionate about the people and the products and the brands. I mean, um, you know, what we do has a direct result, and really is the reason that I started the show. Was I was working at a cannabis company in the sales department. I came to understand what it took to deliver product to stores and, bring them samples, try follow up with them, try to sell into their stores. So I tried to create a platform that was both fun and enjoyable, and also where you could actually get business done. my goal is to create an environment where you're going to come with your company, you focus on making good products, come with a good attitude, come with your great branding and your great marketing skills, and just get in front of those dispensary buyers. Don't worry about anything else other than meeting them, getting their contact information, delivering them your best product, and following up with them, trying to get the sale. So that's what keeps me in it. That's what keeps me passionate and wanting to move forward. There's a lot of excitement, obviously, in the industry. I think with all its challenges, you see price compression and different factors. Even in Massachusetts right now, there's a ballot measure number 8 that we're trying to push everyone to vote no for out there, that would actually take away adult use cannabis from Massachusetts, which is unbelievable. But I would say even with all the challenges in the industry as a whole, there's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of new markets, and that's what keeps us young, is going into new markets. We're going to be doing. We tried New York for the first time this last year, which was a success, and we're going to be going in even bigger this year. So I think expanding the show, we invest is my everything we do is about investing into the next show and investing back into the market, and making the shows even better. So it's very exciting. I love the people. I love the shows. I love to be there. I love to set them up. I love to follow up with people, speak with people, see how they performed, hopefully did well. And that's what keeps me engaged.
Now you brought up Massachusetts. We went to Massachusetts. We went out there, seen a lot of the landscape, and it's a beautiful place. First off, and I mean the culture is great and growing. A lot of great people, a lot of great products and brands. Now you said you love going into new spaces. Are you all in Washington, or have plans to go to Washington at all?
No, we are not in Washington State. I've heard that from time to time from people, and I know some of our brands, including Journeyman. I know that they're out there, but um, I don't have any tentative plans. I would say we're always looking at new markets, and obviously we want to grow as much as we can. Um, but I would say part of it too is not putting the cart before the horse, and we want to make sure that we're being effective in each market that we're in.
Now, since now you brought up New York, and I would say what was some of the and this was your first year in New York.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, tell us a little bit about that show as far as the how did people receive you there, and what's some of the things that you learned there that you'll bring here to the Chicago show.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it was a lot like the first Chicago show, where it was packed, maybe a little bit too packed. So I think the overwhelming feedback was get a bigger space, and I think that sometimes it can be challenging, especially when you go into a new market. And like I'm saying, like I mentioned earlier about Chicago, you try to gauge demand of the show, and you try to kind of see obviously it's hard to see how it will perform prior to reaching out to people. But yeah, I think I mean I would say the only oversight there was get a bigger space. I think everything else in our power, and do 2 days. Everything else in our power, uh, we tend to be effective about actually bring out the buyers, which we did. We brought out I want to say over 50% of the licensed New York market in the very first show. So it was incredibly successful in that regard. We had a lot of great brands out there. We were even able to engage some of the top brands in the state. So I think that we should only improve next time once we get a nicer space. We perk and incentivize the buyers to come out in a more expansive way, and yeah, everything about that should be great. What do we take from that into Chicago? I mean, I think you learn a little bit from everyone, and you learn what works, what doesn't work. And I think obviously Chicago, we've gotten to be boots on the ground a few times now, so we kind of know what we're doing there. But I would say be excited for it. Massachusetts just went great, and we were able to pull it off super successfully. And I think we're going to carry over some of that into some of the more fun experiential activations that we put on.
Now, is there any state that you do more than 2 days? I heard you said that New York was the 1 day. You might do 2 days next year. So I think 2 days is a sweet spot. But is there any state where you do more than that?
We don't do more than 2 days anywhere, and I would say I like the 2 day format. I think it's probably enough for people. You know, by the second day, you already see people getting tired and kind of want to get out of there, especially the exhibitors. Um, but I think what also makes it a good thing is that it's treated as a business event. It's treated as part of their work week. We always do it midweek. In Chicago, we do Tuesday, Wednesday the show. So uh, people treat it as literally a couple of office days where they're coming in to have serious networking, and they come in with a direct goal, obviously, which is to get new business.
That's dope. That's dope. Now I wanted to go into some questions about just, your show is a little bit similar to Champs in a sense where you guys travel around, but I wanted to ask you what differentiates you from a Champs or MJ BizCon and shows of that nature.
Absolutely. I would say Champs is the premier show for C stores, anything from, convenience stores to smoke shops. Their brands meet smoke shops essentially. So from anything from bongs to pipes to papers or even incense go in there, and you can get in front of probably thousands of stores, out retail outlets that'll buy your product. As for MJ Biz, I mean, I think it's a premier platform for ancillary service providers, to get in front of uh, the brands who make it out to Vegas and travel out there. But our show is really unique in that it's state specific. We come into the market and we engage the operators very effectively. We get a very high level of attrition from the entire state to come out. And the biggest thing obviously is it's the wholesale cannabis show. So we're there to have brands meet the buyers and show them their products so that they can purchase it for their stores. That's our entire focus. We're very niche, singular targeted.
Now, that second day with the bud tenders, what's in your eyes, what's special about that day to you with the bud tenders? And the second part to that, what's the feeling you get when you see a number like 1,500 bud tenders show up to your show?
Absolutely, I love it. I mean, number one, the Bud Tender Day always has a great vibe to it. It's a lot of fun. It's high energy. It's different than the first day because it's not, quite the same of trying to sell them. It's more really let's perk them. Let's give them swag. Let's give them the hottest new products that we have as a brand. Obviously, the Bud Tenders are the heartbeat of our industry. Really, it starts and ends with them. They're the ones that when you go online and read the adult use sales numbers that the state performed, it all went through them. So I think it's the best opportunity to get in front of a ton of bud tenders in Illinois and, give them swag, excite them about selling the product, educate them, get them to meet the people behind the brands. And then they go back to the store and push your product even harder.
Now, you know, I don't know if y'all doing it this year, but I'm telling you, Jason, I'm looking forward to your team like blasting out shirts and blasting out joints and stuff like that. I'm talking about, are you guys looking to move into more of a Lollapalooza type vibe in the event?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, we've considered it at points, and I think that historically, I've always been one to not want to distract from the main focus of the event, which is the brands connecting with the attendees. But I think that Chicago is such an exciting market, and we get such interest from people coming by. Just even in the first year, we got GLC and Jim Belushi to come by, which was pretty awesome. So I've had some other preliminary conversations with some popular artists even. So I think you could probably see it. It was great to have a pop up last year in the show from GLC, and I think that it would certainly be exciting, and if there's enough interest, we would definitely do it.
Now, that being said, would you all possibly have a slot for like, some maybe buzzing local artists to come up there and display?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I think that it's less about who it is and more about is it valuable for the event, because I know obviously there's some amazing music culture in Chicago that would be great to have. And I would also say too, we're gonna have an after party that's presented by Fernway this year. We did it last year, and I think you can expect to see that get bigger. But I think that it would be great to have some more music go on during that event. That's what we do in the other states as well. I mean, my Massachusetts show has had some incredible music performances and some popular artists who have gone up there. So um, I think the after party is probably the best time and place for something like that.
Now, is the Fernway after party after the Flower Expo at another venue, or where would that be?
Yeah, it'll be at another venue. We're gonna be announcing more details on that soon, but it will be the night of the Tuesday the 14th, so the first night.
Could you let us know the times of the event?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be there 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. both days on Tuesday and Wednesday, September 15th and 16th.
Dope, dope, dope. Now, as you all are leaving, what is the what is a sense of achievement to you after the show concludes?
Yeah, I mean, we always send out post-show surveys, so right away too. We love to see how people performed, and um I think there's always a little lull after the event where people are unwinding and maybe getting some sleep, but we love to do an initial survey, and then usually we send one out a little bit further after the event. But we want to see that they were able just to have a lot of good preliminary conversations with people. Usually it's tough to tell right away if that ends up translating into business, but we want to make sure that they got in front of a ton of buyers and a ton of retail dispensaries, and they were able to give them product and adequately get their information.
I want to change gears a little bit in this question and ask about in the previous years, did you all have any hemp derived vendors there? And my second part to that is what do you think about the hemp changes that's coming soon?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've worked with hemp derived products. I don't know if I've had any in the Chicago show, but certainly in my other shows. Um, I think it's interesting. I mean, I know that it's due to be effectively removed, and and it's interesting too because I know in Chicago, well, in Illinois as a whole, it's one of the only states where actually you can sell hemp derived products in dispensaries in addition to the typical THC products. But um, I think that it's as a whole in the states where you can't have cannabis, it's probably a good alternative. I think that for the states that do have cannabis, it's probably going to just translate into bringing more customers back to the THC products. It's obviously incredibly tough. I mean, I personally know a lot of business owners that own hemp brands, and um, there's obviously other shows that are built around it, and I've had those clients in my shows before, but hopefully there's some kind of new workaround, or some change at least that they're able to make to continue running their businesses, because the last thing you want is obviously for patients who are using it properly to not have access, and for the businesses to not be able to conduct business anymore.
Now, I think you did a real great job of explaining why the Flower Expo is important on the business front, but why is the Flower Expo important culturally?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously we're not a consumer show, so you don't have a lot of consumers coming in. But what I will say is that our, and especially for media, this is probably what media should be showing off, the most at the event, but it is the representation of the best products in the market, the latest, the newest, the freshest products obviously in the market at our event. They're bringing their best stuff, the hottest stuff that they have, so that they can entice the retailers to buy it for their stores, which go out to everybody. So I think it's a microcosm of literally seeing the best products in the state at any given time.
Why do you think attendees are happy to attend the event?
It's like Halloween for cannabis. That was a review, a testimonial I saw from one of our clients. But I mean, it's true. I mean, you're getting a ton of fresh product, and we try to create a good atmosphere where you enjoy the event, and hopefully you walk away with new business. I mean, that's the biggest hope, and the obviously intended purpose of getting you in front of all those dispensary buyers.
Now you talked about products and things like that, and I know there's going to be ton, but can you tell our viewers what's some of those, for people who just haven't gone at all, what's some of those products and things like that that you've had over the years that you anticipate having this year as well that people should anticipate?
Oh, me personally,
Yeah.
it's tough to pick favorites because I
Like
got
tell
everybody in the show,
tell
but
us
I
what
would
that
say,
trick or treat bag gonna look like. What that bag look
yeah.
like?
Well, I'm excited to have IC Collective back. I mean, I think that they grow some great products in the market. I really do believe Cresco makes some of the best live rosin. Obviously, there's great local people. I mean, I don't want to take away from like Legacy Cannabis has incredible product too. So uh, I don't know. I mean, I love my pens too. I mean, I love the Fernways for sure, and I think that Vape and Ape, my guy over there, he does a great job. Timeless, they do an amazing job. Always love Kana edibles or dialed in's great too. There's those are super tasty. Um, Relief Botanicals, they got some great products. So I think that we we got a ton of good brands. I don't want to fully pick them out, but I would say that you can expect to see a ton of great product from a ton of great brands, and there's something for everybody too. That's the most important thing. You'll see every SKU type from flower to pre-roll to vape to concentrate, drinks, edible, everything.
Now, not putting you on the spot too much, but definitely putting you on the spot. What would you say is your top five flower brands personally? Illinois.
JB, you're gonna get me canceled, man.
Hey, this match my smoke.
I'm not gonna do it in. It's like you're asking me the five greatest NBA players of all time.
Yeah, no, that's this is a valid question. This
Well,
was a question I was asked early on when I started to come around. Like people was asking me, what's your favorite Illinois brand? So this is a question a lot of people ask.
um, oh god. All right,
You gonna be like
saying
Dr.
like
Fauci and plead the fifth?
Fauci. Is that
Fauci?
what he said?
Yeah.
I yeah, I might plead the fifth. I mean, I already said Legacy and IC Collective, and
Okay, you
I don't
gonna
know.
keep it PC?
Skip,
Keep it
skip.
PC.
You can call me Fauci. It was made in a lab, man.
Okay. We heard you mention Cresco and stuff like that. But looking to the third year, you guys are on your third year, you know, what would you say you would pat yourself on the back for?
Yeah, I would say that in terms of like all metrics that we try to evaluate the show on, it was a success. And I think to skip to the most important thing, it was our effectiveness in bringing out people. no matter what industry you're in or any other trade show, to bring out 90% of the state's buyers is incredibly impressive. And humbly, I would say that we our number one job is to treat the dispensaries as VIPs. We want them to feel special, and we want to give them a reason to come out. So last year we had over 250 stores attend at the owner or buyer level, and then 1,500 bud tenders. I think that's where we're effective, and that's obviously why the brands want to be there as well.
I agree. I agree. Now, a lot of connections, a lot of people got to make some connections with people they really wouldn't be in a room with. I know a lot of the times people are trying to talk to buyers so much so having that opportunity not just to really feel constricted to feel like we have to meet and just talk about business. A lot of people are there just really chilling, getting to know each other on a whole nother basis. Maybe they consume together. Um, I know before our interview, before you mentioned you intentionally created that environment for people. What are the things you guys will implement this year that will increase that experience for people? I know you mentioned a consume room or something like that, but how are you guys amplifying that experience so people can feel a lot more relaxed?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would say if you want to talk about how the show's Lollapalooza esque, it's really going to be in the lounge. I mean, we just did it in Massachusetts, and I would say that we're sort of known for those big lounge trusses we put up. You'll see them right when you walk in, but they're big shaded lounge structures that are going to be wrapped. It's going to be a beautiful thing to look at, and obviously get some shade underneath, and then you'll be sitting on the grass and enjoying whatever products that you manage to pick up throughout the time at the show and try it right then and there. I think to have one-on-one meetings only in the cannabis industry, by the way, is where you can have a one-on-one meeting with a C-suite guy that's running the show at wherever he works, sitting on a beanbag and sharing a joint together. So that's why I love the industry. That's why I love the show, and I think that's going to be the biggest improvement. Get some food, get some product, and go hang out in this big lounge area that we're building out.
Absolutely. And just overall, as the founder, what would you say is one of the biggest challenges you had to overcome just running this massive production?
Um, I think that we kind of worked out the kinks in the early days. I think we've invested a lot of money and effort and time into sort of like the physical stuff. So we work with a lot of the same people. I think it's about working with, and anything you do, working with great people who know what they're doing, true professionals. So we've learned how to do it. We know what we're doing, and I think we get better at it, and we refine the process each and every time. But I think it'll all come to a culmination in September at the show, where you see our hopefully our best event ever.
Now, I think you guys have a fantastic event. It's a testament that you are running the event in the weekday in 9 to 5 ish hours, and to still have that type of turnout is incredible. You know, what would you say is the thing that you will want to leave a lasting impression on Chicago this year?
I mean, exactly what you're saying. It should be the two best business days of the year for you. You should look back on it when you're sitting around in January and it's frigid out there in Chicago, and you should say, "Wow, those were two incredible, beautiful days where I enjoyed some awesome food. I met every brand in the market, or I met every retailer in the market, and we got a ton of business done from there." Like, yeah, and that's something I hear always from people, especially when I talk to them again. They'll say we're still talking to people, or we're still closing people that we met at your show. That's music to my ears.
And and you spoke on it right there, but I want to give another on top of that. Give me three more reasons why someone should attend the Flower Expo.
Yeah, I think to attend. I mean, it obviously the show's so different if you're exhibiting or attending, but to attend, um, I mean, number one, you're going to meet nearly every important brand in the market. I'll say nearly every brand in the market, but nearly every important brand that's being sold into stores. So I think if you're trying to evaluate whether you're somebody who just opened a store or you're running a store and you're trying to find a new product that'll help you, uh, maybe push more volume or whatever, this is the show for you. You're going to be able to effectively evaluate each product in the market in a single day without having to take a million meetings at your store or talk to a bunch of reps and do all of that. It really streamlines the process. Obviously, I would say it's enjoyable. So, come out and enjoy the event. It should be one of the most enjoyable events that you go to all year, is my hope. And it's a business event. And, I would say third, maybe that's a tough one, but the panels probably to learn a little bit more about the industry and maybe how it applies to you and your business. We always try to, my team always tries to invite people and curate a really good audience of people that give great insight. And obviously, they're typically well attended, and you can rewatch them on YouTube. And it seems like those always get some great traction online afterwards. So, yeah, I would say definitely learning from the panels is number three.
Now, this year, would you have, or moving in the future, if not this year, would you have a panel for media and or something special for media? Maybe some booths people can start doing live podcasts and things like that there. Or if they don't even have podcast capability, they can have a section where they can set up for interviews specifically so they're not running all around and people can actually come to them.
Yes, I would say for sure. We love that. We encourage that. We invite it. In Massachusetts, last month we did a few of those. So we did High Functioning Podcast, which is done by a Massachusetts operator, Jason Raposa. He did an excellent segment that they broadcasted live, and then they posted on their platform. They had some incredible operators on it. It was super exciting, and has since been popular online. And then we also had in Mass Chris Ferrone, who he does a publication called Talking Joints Memo out in New England. He interviewed Meg Sanders, who's an owner of an operation out in Mass, and she's just been a super big industry person for years and years and years. Definitely look her up if you have the chance. And then I would say the main one was Chris interviewed Chem Dog, who made the original Chem strain. So that's become kind of an ongoing thing in our Massachusetts show, is to do a keynote or a live interview with him. I would love to do that in Chicago. I think there's some incredible, people in Chicago, whether they're celebrities or, just super versed and seasoned industry personnel. But we would love to bring that to Chicago, and I invite anybody in the market, whether it's you or if it's Jason Brown at Illinois News Joint, or anybody else who's interested in putting something on. I think that would be received very well.
Yep, yep. And with that being said, the one thing I didn't see there was, some of the local media, the WGN, CBS's, or anything like that. Are you looking to have them there this year to kind of cover the event as well?
Yeah, local media is interesting because we also don't want people to show up who are consumers looking to come get some weed and stuff. You know what I mean? But from time to time, we've had some groups like that reach out, whether in Chicago or the other markets. I think some of those are better to show maybe after the event, just to maybe do some kind of report or story on our show and the industry really as a whole.
Got you, got you. Keep it a little bit on the low.
Yeah, yeah, we don't want everyone to show up.
Right, right. Now you all are moving into your third year. I know that you all have a sales deck that you present potential vendors with and things like that. But Now, with this being the third year, have you found yourself in a place where you don't have to sell as much? People know who you are, and they're knocking down your door like, Jason, we need a table at the Flower Expo. Come on.
No way. That's not how sales works, JB. You gotta be picking up the phone always. Even if they love you, you're only as good as the last time that you picked up the phone and connected with them. That's sales 101. But no, I mean, obviously people are engaged, interested, and we definitely have some people who reach out, but I would say I'm always hitting the phone. I'm always trying to, tap into with every single brand in the market. My goal is to reach as many people as possible.
And you talking about you. Like you super hands on with this thing. Tell us about it, like the down and dirty work. You all clean today, but the down and dirty work that you have to do personally as the founder of this event to get things up and going.
I just love what I do, man. I love talking to the people. I love setting up the shows. I'm the type of guy that I'll clean the toilets, or I'll sit out with the labor crew and and put together booths and stuff. I'll do everything. I love what I do.
Now, we're going to be drawing to a close in a minute, but I wanted to ask just, you know, what do you want to say to people who may have missed it last year? And I'm talking about industry people. And why should they attend and why should they come this year? Besides all of the wonderful things, products and activations that you said, what's some of the things that they're going to be missing out on if they don't come?
Yeah, you absolutely don't want to miss the show. If you're an operator in the Illinois market, I really think that it's the most important event to be at, just because every other operator in the state's going to be there. Most of the dispensaries, 90% plus of the dispensaries are going to be there. 1,500 bartenders, over 150 brands. And I'd say if you want a booth, reach out to me. My number is 323-524-4888. And if not, you can always get a ticket and come, but I promise that it would be valuable and you'd get new business from it. It's, a very educational, informative experience as well, but it's the most valuable experience, in my opinion, in the market. That's why people allocate most of their marketing budget towards it for events in a year. That's why people invest so much time and effort to set up meetings while they're there. It really does have value.
Now, before we do get up out of here, is there any stone that we left unturned that you want to tell the people about? Any new news that we're breaking right here on Match My Smoke? We love new news. We love it.
I don't know if I have new news.
We didn't turn this stone all the way around, huh?
uh let's see. JB the Oracle is going to be on stage, and no, I'm just kidding. I don't know. Uh that's tough. I don't know. I mean, I would just say that we're excited to be at the new venue at Morgan Arts Complex. I really think that it's going to be, a very awesome change for the show. Much bigger, much more enjoyable, and really expect to see the event grow a lot in terms of more brands, more booths, and more retailers.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Jason Bello, founder of the Flower Expo, one of the biggest shows in the country right now, connecting people in the industry. Let's give him a round of applause. Now, I'm almost feeling like, we going to probably have to revisit this thing like almost yearly then, Jason, as long as you running it and going, and we going to have to let Chicago know what's how you're growing and what's going on. We definitely got to have you back on the show.
I'd be honored, man. Yeah. Hopefully I can still get on a podcast with you and you're not too popular by then.
Man, hopefully I am too popular by then, but we definitely going to leave the door open for you.
That's right. That sounds good, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll have you hold right here. Thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Match My Smoke. JB the Oracle, special guest, founder of Flower Expo, all around the nation right now, doing their thing, going from state to state, teaching the people, bringing deals together. You don't want to miss it this September. Make sure you go to the page and get tickets. Thank you for tuning in. Peace.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much, dude.